have some interesting UFO-related headlines this week, claiming that we might actually know the origin of those unidentified metallic spheres which have been seen all around the world. These claims are coming from a brand new interview with Sean Kirkpatrick, the face of the Pentagon's UFO program, who recently retired in December of 2023, shared this info on the newest episode of In the Room with Peter Bergen. I have to tell you the way more interesting stuff that he talked about first. Okay, so this is kind of the overall conclusion that he came to in his time working for Arrow. He claims that everyone is just regurgitating the same deceptive story, claiming that about 12 UFOs were recovered between the years 1940 and 1960. These materials were given to a private company, which led to the cover-up, which caused issues when years later the US government wanted oversight over those materials. According to Kirkpatrick, the real problem here, the top secret game of telephone that has been going on for decades, getting more and more embellished as we go on. He claims that all the UFO stories and the rumors can all be traced back to less than a dozen people. Not to be confused with the Dirty Dozen, MJ-12. This was less than a dozen. And the host of this program points out the irony perfectly. Many true believers of UFOs and aliens believe that there was a government cover-up. Kirkpatrick is claiming on this show that a small group of alien and UFO believers within the government in high-level positions have actually carried out an elaborate agenda to essentially trick the government into researching aliens and UFOs. Bet you didn't see that switcheroo coming. He said that when his office followed the info, everything came back to ex-Senator Harry Reid and his friend Robert Bigelow. This fewer than a dozen people included people connected to the DIA, Congress, private corporations, which have been influencing this story, and he claims has directly influenced whistleblowers. Now, I get the feeling Sean Kirkpatrick does not like David Grusch very much. He says that a small group has influenced Grusch. He said it could have been misinterpretation, but he believes that Grusch has fallen to the influence of these people and their false narratives. And Kirkpatrick says that Grusch never spoke to AARO and that everything he knows about his situation is through the media only. Which, if that's true, you should be embarrassed to admit that. You were literally in charge of the UAP program of the Pentagon. It's not a flex. But what I found very interesting is him talking about David Grusch being influenced. Now, if you made it this far into the video, here's a little treat for you. An unreleased part of my interview with Stephen Greer about David Grusch. And it's very juicy.
And even some of the, like this whistleblower that came forward, David Grusch, who I'd met with in March of 2022 and provided intelligence to him. His bosses are the ones I'm working with. He's been captured by that cabal, and now he's saying, oh, the aliens are murdering people. And he's referring to some events that happened in Africa and Brazil. All of those were CIA black projects involving man-made UFOs, killing innocent civilians. Same thing with human trafficking, drugs. No, they don't want the public to know that.
Okay, so also in this interview, Sean Kirkpatrick claims that his department figured out what happened at Roswell. He claims it was actually part of Project Mogul, which was a top secret program dealing with spy balloons. He claims some of those balloons had test dummies in them, but that there also happened to be a plane crash where 11 people died around the same time, and he says both stories just got mixed up and merged together. And he says people believed it because they were so fearful and paranoid coming out of World War II. He said as far as recent sightings, he believes everything from the 2000s on are US government secret operations. Now let's get back to these metal balls. The Daily Mail is claiming that it matches a prototype that was made public by Chinese researchers in 2022, but they did not go far enough down the rabbit hole. Here's a patent from 1949, which it's basically a type of reflective weather balloon. And here's an old article talking about another spherical object with a square inside. And also the thing that Daily Mail is claiming that it could be is only for indoor use. So do better, Daily Mail, or call me next time. And you, Sean Kirkpatrick, you're doing interviews, you call me too. In the end, does Sean Kirkpatrick believe in aliens? He said, yeah, it's realistic to believe that there's other life forms. He said the best thing he could have done in this job was prove that aliens were real. Unfortunately, based on the research that he came across, there was no proof of that. But not every official agrees. Representative Luna.
Grusch never said extraterrestrial or alien, he said interdimensional. It has become apparent that there is a movement, whether it's within the intelligence community or not, to prevent us from finding out more information on this.
So according to Kirkpatrick, they did not find evidence of extraterrestrial life. But have they found evidence of interdimensional life? Okay, stay tuned because I'm going to do a video about everything that she said in this little interview here too.